Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I want to talk about why narcissists keep going back to their exes. And most of the time, they do. Most of the time, a narcissist generally circles back and goes back to their exes. And people ask me all the time, why is the narcissist emotionally attached to their exes? Well, let me just clarify something. It's not so much that they're emotionally attached to their exes, but there's other reasons why the narcissist keeps going back to their ex. And I'm going to get into that. Number one reason why a narcissist would shoot back and go to their ex is that they have a history with their ex, all right? When a narcissist has a history with somebody, it's very hard for the narcissist to just let it go and move on, all right? I mean, sometimes they can, but in general, they're always going to come back, all right? They're always going to come back. It's like a criminal. They always come back to the scene of the crime, right? So the narcissist also wants to get the benefits from their ex. They know that they had the benefits, they had the supply from their ex, and they feel like, well, that's a guaranteed supply. All right. They know what they had and they figure they could always have it. And they know that they manipulated their exes. All right. They know that they were successful in manipulating their exes. When they go out for somebody new, there's no guarantees with that. They have to learn that person again. They have to, be able to see if they have a greater supply than their exes. And if they don't have a greater supply than their exes, that's when a narcissist would probably circle back and go to their exes. See, what narcissists do is they weigh out, their benefits to losses, so to speak, all right? So they could start out with a new supply. They go for a little while with the new supply. They tell the new supply they're single, and they realize that, hey, the grass wasn't greener over here. I think I'm going to go back to my ex, right? But the deception is that they never told the new supply that they're still talking to their exes or they're in contact with their exes. And most of the time, when a narcissist moves on to somebody else, a new supply, they're still trying to keep in touch with their exes, okay? Some way. They may be hoovering them. They may be trolling their social media, watching them. So you got to understand something. The ex is similar to an old toy that the narcissist has a hard time of letting go. Narcissists don't want to let go of things. They want to hold on to things. Even if they're not using that particular toy, they still can't let it go. So they will hold on to their exes, and also they want to see if they can win their exes back as well, all right? Because that's a big high for a narcissist as well, to, after incurring a narcissistic injury, to come back and fool their exes and win them over again. So, nothing makes a narcissist feel better than to know they can manipulate you a second time, all right? That's a big high for a narcissist, to know that they can manipulate you more than once. That's why I say, once you see who the narcissist is, it's a wrap. You've got to let them go. Because if you let this person back in, they're going to do to you the exact thing they did last time, only worse. Because now they feel you have low boundaries. You gave more chances than you should. And now that narcissist is going to walk all over you because they're going to completely have zero respect for you and feel they could do what they want. Why? Because you're still there. You are still there, okay? And that sends a direct message to the narcissist that your boundaries don't mean anything. Your threats of leaving don't mean anything because you're still there, all right? That's why when you have these toxic relationships where people are fighting all the time, and they say, well, if you do that again, I'm out of here. If you do this again, I'm out of here. But then they never leave, okay? They never leave. So the narcissist doesn't care. They feel like, you know what? There's boundaries, but no, enforcement of the boundaries. So they feel like your words don't mean anything and they can run with it. And a lot of times when they're dealing with their exes may be somebody who lets the narcissist get away with and do what they want. Maybe they moved on to the new supply, and the new supply is difficult. The new supply is the one who's got the strong boundaries, and the narcissist feels like, oh, I'm not dealing with this. I'll go back to my ex who has low boundaries where I could still get supply and be able to do what I want, okay? They may also want to go back to their exes because they don't want to end up in a divorce with their ex, okay? Because divorce is a big thing, and people that have gone through it know exactly what I'm talking about, especially when you have children. It's a big thing to go through a divorce with a narcissist. First of all, they drag it out in court. Second of all, there's children involved, and it's complicated, and there's emotions and feelings. There's money to be divided. There's assets to be divided. It's a lot, okay? It's a lot. And a narcissist rather just try to mend fences with their exes than have to pay out money. Now they got to do visitation on their own with their children. There's nobody there to entertain the kids. They have to entertain the kids every other weekend or however they work out visitation. They may lose their house and have to move into an apartment. So many people that get divorced can't live in a house anymore, all right? They end up having to go get an apartment or live with their mother or something. So narcissists don't want to do that. They don't want to downgrade their lifestyle now because they had to split up their assets. So it's just much easier to just go back to their ex, tell their ex everything they want to hear, and then just live their secret life on the side, okay? They figure, well, I'll just pretend I'll go to therapy, make them think that I'm changing, and I'll just, I'll manipulate them better, or I'll cheat on them better. I'll find other ways where they won't figure it out, or I'll love bomb them better. So that's another reason why narcissists keep going back to their exes, because they feel that they can get over on their exes, and they feel comfortable. And as I said before, narcissists want their cake and eat it too. The other thing too, a lot of reasons why narcissists go back to their exes is because if a narcissist has been with somebody for a long time, all right, their ex per se, they know that they were able to stay with that person for a while. There was a sense of security there, okay? And narcissists want to go where they know there's a sense of security. So they want that security, but they also want their freedom as well. And maybe they had their freedom with this person, whereas if they go with a new supply, they may not have a sense of security where that person just tells them, goodbye and abandons them and, doesn't put up with them. And now they have nobody. See, a narcissist doesn't want to end up where they have nobody. They always have to have somebody to validate them. They never want to be, dumped. They never want to be abandoned because that's a huge narcissistic injury. Besides exposure is to be abandoned because it makes them feel alone, makes them feel isolated, gives them depression, gives them anxiety. So they need that security, and who better to do it than somebody that they have a history with, their ex, all right? Also, I want to bring up this. 9 times out of 10, if an ex will take back a narcissist, they're generally trauma bonded to that narcissist, or they feel the narcissist is going to change. The narcissist has manipulated them so well that they feel that the narcissist is going to change, or their exes could have very, very low self-esteem and don't want to be alone as well. So always look at who the narcissist ex is, because if they're a very vulnerable person, they may be more, willing to take back a narcissist than if a narcissist had to start with somebody else. So these are the reasons why a narcissist keeps going back to their exes. But it's not an emotional tie per se with their exes. It's more a comfort thing, okay? It's more a comfort thing for the narcissist because, like I said, it's a comfort in knowing that this is a guaranteed supply that they've had before, and they feel like, well, I had it before with them and I know I could have that supply again with them. Whereas to go out with somebody else and who has strong boundaries, there is no guarantees there. Okay? There is no guarantees there. And that's why narcissists always keep in contact with their exes, or they try to keep in contact with their exes. They have a hard time of letting go of their exes because, again, that ex was a security for them, or that ex provided some kind of supply to them, and narcissists don't want to get rid of that supply. Narcissists don't want to burn bridges, although they do burn bridges once people figure out what they are. They don't want to burn bridges because they still want access to that supply. Not only do they want access to that supply, they still want to be able to control that person. Okay? They still want to be able to control that person. Also, they don't want that person moving on in their life. They want to take away their freedom. So they come back and they waste their time again. And then the person realizes that the narcissist is doing toxic things. They kick them out again. And the narcissist, goes on a little hiatus, a little break, has their fun, then comes back again. Love bombs, tells them they miss them, how much they care about them. And their exes keep taking them back, okay? The only way a narcissist can keep going back to their exes is if their ex allows it. If their ex allows it. So you have to assume that their ex is not really seeing the narcissist for who they truly are. Or they're so codependent and trauma bonded to the narcissist, they just can't let them go, okay? And this is true. This is true. If you get involved with a narcissist who's still talking to their ex or something like that, a lot of times these people are trauma bonded to the narcissist and can't let them go. And these are like some of the biggest toxic relationships. That's the relationships where you have, they're on, they're off, they're on, they're off, they're on, they're off. Oh, let's take a break. Oh, let's take a break. Oh, let's take a break. Now, let me bring up something about this let's take a break business. And I had done reels on this. One of the ways narcissists gaslight you in order to go out with other supply is to say, oh, let's take a break. I need a break. I'm going through something. I need to work things out in my head. Can we take a break? All right. And they're not taking a break to just work out things and be alone and read a book. Okay. They're not taking that time to read a book. They're taking that time because they have an interest in somebody else. It could be somebody from work. It could be somebody at the gym. It could be somebody that they're around, or somebody online that they've been chatting with. But when they tell you they want to take a break, it's generally because they want to try somebody else out, another supply, but they're putting you on the shelf. And they figure this is their way to put you on the shelf and come back and, come back to you when things don't work out with the other supply. So, the thing is this, if people can't resolve their issues with you, and can't work with you, then they're not your people. And if they really care and love you and they're going through something, they should want to, be able to express that to you and want you close. You're supposed to be a support system to that person, right? And that person should want you around, want your support. But, that's just the narcissist gaslighting because they want a break to go see somebody else, talk to somebody else, and they want you to leave them alone. Stop calling their phone, stop texting them. They want their space so they can go out with other people. But they don't tell you that, okay? They don't tell you that because they know that if they told you that, you wouldn't want to deal with them. So they gaslight you, confuse you, and, they're out with other people. So, always be careful when you get involved with somebody, and especially a narcissist, to make sure there isn't any loose ties there to somebody else in the background. And a lot of them will keep talking, if they keep talking about their ex, that's a big red flag, okay? Even if they're talking, disparaging their exes. That's still a big red flag, that there's still a tie there. There's still a connection there. And people come back to me and they say, well, they lie too. Yeah, we know they lie. We know that the narcissist lies. And they may not tell you that they're still talking to their exes. But you'll be able to see it in time because they'll disappear on you, make excuses why they can't see you. And it's because they're seeing their ex, or they could be seeing another supply. Okay? In time, it all unravels. What's in the dark comes into the light in time. You'll be able to see it in time because the narcissist can't keep up the act. Trust me when I tell you, because I've dealt with so many narcissists in my life, they can't keep up the act. And their true, authentic self starts to shine, and you'll start to see that they're not who you think they are. So these are the reasons, you guys, why narcissists keep going back to their exes. There's a history. Their ex is doing everything for them. They were never, ever really broken up with their exes and telling you they were broken up. All right. So, you're thinking you're getting involved with somebody and they weren't completely single. They were on break with their ex, or their ex, may have kicked them out, but they're still trying to hoover their ex. And that's another thing too. Their ex could kick them out. They get involved with you, but they have no intentions of taking it anywhere with you. You're a temporary hold. And what they're going to do is they're still trying to hoover their ex till they feel they could break their ex and be able to go back to them. And once they are able to go back to their exes, that's when they discard you. That's when they discard you, because now they have their ex lined up to go back to. They have manipulated their ex to take them back, and then you, if you're the new supply, are discarded coldly. That's why they could be discarding you coldly as well in a situation like that, okay? They'll also go back to their exes sometimes too because they're worried about exposure. Some of them will go back to their husbands or wives or whatever because they're worried about exposure in court, exposure to their family. Maybe their exes are going to go and tell their family everything that they've done, and they don't want that kind of heat. They don't want that kind of exposure because of what their family would think of them in some cases. They always want to look like, they're shiny, they're great, they have a good image, and that maybe they don't want that kind of negative exposure. So that could be another reason why they go with their exes, and especially if they're in a type of career where their image means a lot, all right? It could be politics. There could be a politician. They go back to their ex because it makes them look good, all right? And they're comfortable with their ex. And they know they can manipulate their ex. And their ex is the old toy that they just can't get rid of. So you guys, these are the reasons that the narcissist keeps going back to their exes, okay? It's about, like I said before, benefits versus losses. They feel that their ex, it's a guaranteed benefit, okay? It's a guaranteed win for them because they already had it. They know what it is. It's more of a security thing for them. It's a safety net for them. And that's why 9 times out of 10, they're always trying to go back to their exes. So I hope that helps you. If it does, hit the subscribe button, share the podcast. If you're looking for confidential one-on-one phone coaching, check out the link in the bio. I have limited time because I'm working on another project. Also, you guys, check out my YouTube at the Game Exposed podcast. I have almost 7,000 videos on there where I talk about all different aspects of narcissism. So just do a search in the search box on my page at the Game Exposed podcast, and you will find information on a lot of things: covert narcissists, discard, manipulation, silent treatment, triangulation, word salad. It's all on my YouTube. Check out my Facebook at the Game EXP 123. TikTok is the Game Exposed, and Instagram is the Game EXP 123. And have a great day.